Welcome to the Brandon and Ryan Hour. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Ryan. And this is our spoiler filled, in depth review or discussion of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which is a horrible movie that was
Whoa,
released
whoa,
in
whoa, whoa,
August
whoa,
of
whoa,
2023.
whoa. Wait a minute.
I stand by
Back
what
it
I
up.
said. I stand by what I said.
It's a good movie.
It is not.
Calm down, sir. You calm down.
It is a travesty.
A travesty.
A
That's
travesty.
calm down. Maybe I should calm down.
Maybe.
It's nowhere near. I've seen plenty of bad movies. This is not one of them.
Oh, yes, it is.
Nah. All right. Well, you're gonna have to explain yourself, sir, in a minute.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So all kinds of spoilers gonna go on here, I guess, because Ryan's gonna tell me everything he hates about the movie. I guess before we get into it, I really love the Ninja Turtles, and I have.
Yeah, me too.
I've
The Ninja Turtles
loved
are
the Ninja
great.
Turtles for decades, literally decades. Watch the 80s and 90s cartoon, the live action movies, all three of them. The other animated movies that they've done had all the toys, the video games, like super Ninja Turtles nerd. Pretty sure, yeah, I definitely dressed up as Ninja Turtles for Halloween before too.
Which one did you dress up as?
I don't know. I'm
Which
pretty sure.
Which one is your favorite?
My favorite is Leonardo, but I'm pretty sure I dressed up as Raphael.
Okay.
Because I think I remember having the size. And I mean, it's hard to have a favorite. They're all four turtles are awesome.
I mean, all four of them are awesome, but you can still have a favorite.
I guess it's just hard to have a favorite because, like, Donatello has the staff, and the staff is always fun. I used to do karate as a kid, and I got the staff because of the Ninja Turtles, and they wouldn't let me have two swords, two sides, or two nunchucks, so I had to go with the staff.
That's fantastic.
I mean, and Michelangelo is freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
So, love me some turtles. Did you ever dress up as a Ninja Turtle?
I feel like I did. I can't remember exactly when it would have been, but I'm like 90% sure that I did.
A long time ago?
A long time ago, yes.
Now, I guess the last... I don't know. I guess it's been a while since I've seen anything new Ninja Turtles related. I think the last couple of cartoons that I've seen have not been my art style.
Okay.
Some weird art for a while, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. This was not on our watch/review list because primarily I couldn't get over the artwork. It's a little strange for me. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe the artwork. It's like messy.
Yeah.
And irregular. They're like irregular shapes. Like the people are shaped funny. The Ninja Turtles are shaped funny. The lighting is weird.
Uh-huh.
I guess it's kind of cool what they did with the lighting. in like a cartoon setting, because you wouldn't get that. Like they couldn't have done that kind of lighting with the 80s and 90s cartoon. But
if you say so.
I mean, they didn't. It was just regular lighting for the cartoon, like just anyway. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of strange, and I wasn't planning on watching it mostly because of that, and I'm not a kid anymore, so sometimes it feels weird watching kid movies when you're a grown
Not
man,
a child, yeah. That's fair.
especially without kids. I guess if you're gonna go with some kids or take kids, not go with kids. That's all right, kids. I'm gonna go to the movies with you.
Yeah. Just find some
You're gonna,
random kids on the side of the road. Hey, you want to go to the movies?
hey, you guys
Not what
going
you
to
should
watch this
do.
movie? I'll come with. Okay. Woo. Yeah. I didn't even know what the plot of the story was because I couldn't get past the artwork in the previews. I was just like, man, this looks so weird. I didn't look like my thing. But then I heard some people talking about it, and like grown adult men, and they were like, yeah, it was pretty good. And I was like, And then I had some other people that I know watch it and say I should go watch it. So I did, and I drugged that guy along with me.
Yep.
Can't drag kids with me because that's weird. That's probably illegal. Okay. Yeah. So I enjoyed it for the
I
most
did
part.
not.
Are you sure?
I am 100% sure. I did not
was
enjoy this
unaware.
movie
Was
at
unaware
all.
of that.
Okay.
I thought you loved it.
Not at all. And if you
Not
would have
even a
listened
little bit.
to, not even a little bit, if you would have listened to our spoiler-free review yesterday, which is posted on our page, if you want to go check that out, you can. You would have known exactly how I felt about it.
Oh. Well, if you're here and you haven't seen that already, I guess don't go watch that. How about you just tell us again why you seem to have so little regard for this movie?
One, the writing was terrible. The storyline.
Hold on, slow down, sir.
You asked me.
You're gonna
to
like
give my thoughts.
shotgun me with all these like. Okay, so the writing is terrible.
Yes, the
How
writing
so?
is terrible. I mean, can I continue along the same lines that I was?
What?
How
was the writing terrible?
The writing is terrible because they didn't stay true to any of the characters. The dialogue was clumsy at best. The jokes didn't land at all. Nothing in the movie was funny.
Okay, I disagree
And the
with you
plot
heavily
didn't make
on that
sense
one.
at all.
I disagree with you heavily on the first three things.
Please
Okay,
give your
how did
reason.
they not stick to the characters?
None of the characters are the characters. Splinter is just some random rat who got mutated.
Okay, they did change a little bit of the backstory for Splinter.
They changed a lot of the backstory because Splinter was always has always been connected to the Hamato clan. He's always been a master of ninjutsu.
Yeah,
always.
Right.
He learned how to be a ninja from watching kung fu movies, which makes no freaking sense.
Yeah, it makes
kung
no sense.
fu is not ninjutsu. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
He watched a whole bunch of kung fu movies and learned how to be a ninja. That's not how it works.
You're correct. You're correct there. I'll give
you
that. They
made him a helicopter parent instead of a sensei, a teacher. None of the turtles had any respect for him at all, which in ninjutsu, that's one of the core tenets, is to be respectful of your sensei. They were not at all. They disregarded everything he said. The
I
movie starts
mean,
out. The movie starts out with the Ninja Turtles going to steal stuff. To steal stuff to
that
stock
kind
their
of
house.
bothered me a little bit.
That is not what the turtles do. They don't go and commit crimes.
Yeah. And that didn't even. I'll give you the stealing thing. The changing the backstory was kind of annoying, but it's a new generation,
I
and
don't
they
care.
always change things. Um, the the
But
disrespect part.
they completely changed the character.
Well, hold on, but they changed the backstory.
They completely changed the character.
I guess, sort of, but not completely.
100% they changed the character. But go ahead.
Anyway, the talking back and being disrespectful thing. I mean, they're 15-year-old kids.
They've always been 15 years old. In the
They have
80s,
not always been 50-year-old.
yes,
No, they
they
weren't.
have. Yes,
No, they
they
weren't.
were.
No, they
If you,
weren't.
they've always been canonically 15 to 16 years old. Yes, they have.
No, they have not.
Yes, they have. The only movie that they weren't 15 or 16 was the computer animated one that came out a few years ago that I can't remember the name of. I think it was just called TMNT.
TMNT.
That was the only one where they weren't canonically 15 to 16.
Okay, how are they 15 and 16 in the other three movies when the other three movies span like 5 years?
I don't think they actually spanned 5 years. Like, I think those series
3
of events
years.
all happened around the same time. Not when they were released, but in the actual movie time frame. I think it was all in the same general time frame.
I don't know if they're that close in time in the
I
movie,
think they are.
but they're spread out over 3 years. It's
Right. The movie
4 years.
The movie release dates were, but in the actual story progression, I don't think there's much time that passes. They've always been canonically 15 to 16.
And I don't know.
Yes.
I don't think so. I think you're wrong on that. I mean, you can say that, but they never said in the live action movies. They never said how old they were,
Okay.
and they acted like late teens, not early teens. And by the
15 to
third one, they
16
would have.
is mid-teens at best. So early
It's
teens.
earlier than late, which would be 18 or 19. And by the third one, they were probably 20.
I don't think so. I don't think
do.
that's right.
I do think it's right.
Okay.
Because they didn't act in the live action movie, they didn't act like 15-year-old kids.
They did when you train them correctly and teach them respect.
No, I mean, not like.
Right. You're looking at 15-year-olds today, not 15-year-olds that have been
I'm not talking about
raised
like.
up in.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm talking about act like, live like your person, like your being, not your their mannerisms and their body and like what they did, how they did things was not that of 15-year-old kids.
They've always been 15 to 16 years old.
It's impossible.
It's not impossible.
It is impossible. They
It
have
is
to
not.
grow up. They can't always. It's not The Simpsons. They have to grow up at some point. And how are they always canonically 15? Where are you getting that from?
Research?
I'm going to need you to cite your source.
Okay, well, I don't have it on me, so.
So that we'll just ignore that.
Okay.
And, okay. What else did you say?
What do you mean, what else did I say? I've said a lot.
You said they were disrespectful.
They were disrespectful.
The backstory for Splinter, the stealing, that was stupid. Because even now, like, you can order things delivered and pay for it. They had cell phones. They had technology. They didn't have to
Which
go.
also made no sense at all. How did they have cell phones that worked with plans? How did they sign up for those?
How'd they get the phones? How'd they get internet in the sewer? I mean, that would be easy, but yeah. So there's like a lot of things that don't technically make sense. But the stealing thing was kind of stupid, and I didn't appreciate that because they don't steal.
Right.
Now, if the pizza's not there in 30 minutes, they're not paying for it.
Right, because it's free.
Because it's free. But it doesn't make sense why they would steal. And they stole a lot. And they definitely did it often because they knew what they were doing.
Yep. And they made Splinter a complete racist for no reason, which has never been in his backstory at all.
How'd they make him a racist?
He hated all humans. So
in the literal sense of the term, as a race of humans, he hated. Hated he's a speciesist.
He's a speciesist, but that's never been the case because he was part of the Hamato clan, which is filled with humans, and he was well respected in that. He's never been like, I hate humans. That's never been one of his character traits, and that was a big part of his character in this movie.
Yeah, they did make him more. He was more of a dad in the movie, and
not just a dad. He was more of a helicopter parent who was paranoid for the.
If you lived in a city where 20 million people wanted to kill you, would you be paranoid?
We don't know that 20 million people wanted to kill him. We saw one interaction, and that was it.
The whole city went after him at the end until April got on TV.
Because they thought they were attacking the city.
Which made no sense.
Yeah. And the Ninja Turtles don't go out in the spotlight when they're doing their stuff. They're ninjas. They work from the shadows.
Yeah, but they came out. I mean, even in the movies, they came out of the shadows.
Some. But they never went and became famous or decided to go to high school.
Oh, I keep forgetting about those movies. I didn't like those movies. The Megan Fox ones.
Yeah, those were horrible as well.
I forget about those because they sucked.
Yeah. Giant
turtles. How are you gonna hide when you're 12 feet tall?
I don't know.
Anyway. I'll give you some of that where they changed a lot of the source material. But some of it like changing the Splinter thing is kind of whatever because it doesn't really affect too much.
It does.
Okay. And they always change, like they're always changing something about characters' backstories for new generations. So I'll let it slide.
I won't.
Clearly. But I thought it was actually pretty funny. Like the turtles, I don't know, not constantly, but like there was a ton of jokes. And it was kind of not slapstick, but like where you're laughing at them, but not in a negative way. You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying. I disagree with you completely. Like every comedy beat that was in the movie, I just rolled my eyes. I didn't find any of it amusing.
Yeah, because you're looking at I don't know. It's a kid's movie. It's not an adult comedy.
It doesn't matter. I can watch funny kids shows and enjoy them.
Can you?
Yeah. I have to watch kid shows all the time with my niece and nephews. And even stuff that was made for kids can have funny moments where I'm actually laughing instead of just
Okay.
rolling my
Yeah, yeah,
eye.
yeah. But your niece and nephew aren't mid-teenagers.
And
So you're watching stuff for little kids.
yeah, and it's better when you
Teenagers
don't
have a
talk.
different. They just have a different. I mean, they're different. There's a way big difference between a 15-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Okay. But you can make a movie that appeals to both teenagers and adults and young kids without talking down to the audience and dumbing things down.
How did they dumb things down or talk down to the audience?
Like all of the comedy was just dumbed down to appeal to no one. It wasn't good
How
comedy.
was it dumbed down though?
It wasn't good comedy, so
But
ergo
you're
it
not
is dumbed
explaining to me
down.
how it was dumbed down. I guess I thought it was funny.
Okay.
So
You can think it's funny. I did not.
right, but you're saying it's dumbed down. Like, how is it dumbed down? How are they talking down to the audience through the comedy?
Because they didn't make it engaging, they didn't make it funny, they didn't make it witty, nothing. It was just, hey, look at this. Isn't this funny? Everybody should laugh at this.
Yeah, because
When it
that's
wasn't
what
funny.
kids do.
Okay.
That's literally what kids do.
All right.
Is it not? Does your niece and nephew not go, look at that? Ha 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 ha. And you're
Sometimes,
like,
yeah.
wow, that was stupid.
I mean, occasionally, sure, but not
Okay.
constantly.
Yeah, because they're not your kids, so you're not around them constantly.
Okay.
And I don't know about you, but when I was a 15-year-old kid, we laughed at the dumbest stuff and made the dumbest jokes in the world.
Okay.
And they were funny, but they were still dumb. Like, dumb things can be funny. Dumb jokes can still be funny.
Yeah. These were not.
Okay. All right. All right, Grandpa. I'd say okay, boomer, but you're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
So I'd say the first 2/3 of the movie, the story was somewhat interesting, and I think it kept a good pace. But the last act, I don't know, it lost me. They like the comedy kind of stopped. The final or the finale and all that stuff didn't make sense. It made sense up until the what's his name? Superfly?
Uh-huh.
Made sense up until Superfly turned into the giant thing. It also didn't make sense why Superfly was trying to turn all other living creatures on Earth into mutants. Because that were, human size. Because if a billion ants, or there's more than that, if 100 billion ants turned into 6-foot tall creatures, there'd be no room left on the planet for all of the creatures. Like, there's just, I don't know. That didn't make sense. And I also didn't get why he wanted to kill everybody. They never fleshed that out, other than people killed the guy that made him.
And we don't even know that he was killed. We just know that he was captured.
Did they capture him? I thought he
Yes.
did die.
No.
Oh, okay.
They captured him and took him away. And
after the explosion?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just don't remember.
Because they pulled him out as the building caught on fire. And they drug him out to one of their vans.
What?
What do you mean, what?
I
Do you
mean,
not
what?
understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
No. The explosion happened. I guess I don't remember the fire part. Am I
Okay.
dumb?
The building caught on fire. They got out. They said, get everything that you can. They picked him up, carried him out, grabbed what they could, and left the building before it exploded.
They
did not kill Baxter Stockman.
You sure?
Yes.
Huh. Interesting.
Okay.
Okay. Well. So yeah. So his motivation then is I don't get it all. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I don't know. And then gathering up, waiting 15 years to gather up all of these parts that what is it?
TCRI?
TCRI?
Mm-hmm.
To steal all their stuff. And then he steals like everything but one thing, and then they're like, now let's start putting tracking devices on things. And the tracking device was like this giant freaking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which was annoying. Didn't make sense. I don't know. So what else?
What else?
Yeah.
I mean, I still have a problem with a lot of the characters. So none of the turtles acted like they should have. Leonardo was supposed to be a leader. Nobody treated him like he was in charge. He never acted like he was in charge.
Till the end when he started to grow up and because
Okay.
they're young. Because they're young in this. That's what I'm saying.
They've been young in every iteration before.
You keep saying that, but I don't know that. Because when I'm watching the old stuff, I'm thinking they're 18, 19.
I don't think that's true. I think you were incorrect in your assumption there.
I'm not assuming anything. I said when I watch that, I'm thinking they're 18
right,
or
so
19.
that is an assumption. I'm thinking equals I am assuming.
No.
Yes.
No. Because it doesn't say how old they are. So I'm saying, I'm like, all right, I'm looking at you, you're 18 or 19.
Yeah, that's making an assumption.
There's no evidence or proof to disprove it, though.
Okay, but it's still an assumption.
So is yours.
If you say so.
Why do you say they're 15?
Because that's what everything that's ever been published says, that they're 15 to 16.
Who's publishing this stuff? What publications?
The comic books, the packaging
This isn't
for
the comic book.
The comic books, the packaging for toys based around the movies, everything that's ever been published.
For toys?
Yeah, apparently that's what it says.
I don't get that. Doesn't make any sense.
You know, they make toys to go along with movies.
Yes.
Apparently on the packaging it says that the turtles are between 15 and 16 on all the packaging.
From the toys from the 90s?
Yes.
It doesn't. No, that doesn't. I don't believe that because I had all the toys from the 90s.
Okay, did you ever read the packaging? Like everything on the back of it?
Yeah, I love the Ninja Turtles, dude. I literally had every single toy that they had.
Okay, well, go find some of the boxes that you still have.
I wish I could. I freaking wish I could. If I had that stuff, I'd be so excited. I'd have it all over my walls. But no, I don't. Because I'm an idiot. And instead of leaving them in the box and putting them in the closet, I played with them.
But yeah, so Leonardo never acted like a leader, except for like
Until
2
the
seconds
end.
towards the end. And it was just one scene that he acted like a leader.
Okay.
None of the other turtles respected him. Raphael was angry for no reason, and it irritates me in these movies where they make him just angry for the sake of being angry. That's not why Raphael is an angry character to start with.
Okay, hold on. Okay, you said a lot. All right, if we're gonna go with my scenario, right? They're 15. They're young, right? They're growing up into themselves. If he's starting to become a leader at 15, it makes sense that by the time they're 18, 19, that he is a full-fledged leader. They look up to him, respect him, do whatever he says for the most part. And since when do you have to have a reason to be angry when you're 15?
That's never been why Raphael was angry. He's always had passion. He's always felt overlooked. It's not just I'm angry because I'm angry. That's not Raphael's character is what I'm saying.
Right. They didn't have time to like flesh it out, but when does a 15-year-old need a reason to be angry though?
Everybody needs a reason to be angry.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense just to be angry for the sake of being angry.
Do 15-year-olds do a lot that makes sense? I think that you're like looking at these people like at these turtles like they should act like 40-year-old men
That's
who
not
have
what
their
I'm
whole
looking at.
lives figured out.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
It sounds like it. Like
I'm
they're
saying
15.
Again, I understand what you're saying, but going off what I know, every iteration they've been basically the same age. So this is a wild departure from everything else, is what I'm getting at. The characters are different than any other interpretation that we've seen.
So
I have a problem with it.
So because it's not exactly from the source material, you have a problem with it.
I'd be fine if they introduced some things, like kept the consistency of the characters the same.
What do you mean consistency?
Like if the characters were still the characters, if Leonardo was still Leonardo,
that would make Leonardo.
Sense. He is not. The only turtle that was still...
If he was 13, similar, if they were 13 in this movie, would it make more sense the way they acted?
No.
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 Why not?
Because it wouldn't.
How young do you think they acted?
I don't know. But they didn't act like the turtles.
You're around kids all the you teach kids. Do the kids that you teach act like the turtles do?
No, not at all.
Worse?
No. They're way more respectful.
What do you mean respectful?
Respectful.
Who are they disrespecting?
Who were the turtles disrespecting?
Yeah.
Master Splinter. Themselves.
How are they disrespecting themselves?
Because they were acting like idiots the entire freaking movie.
Yeah, if you get 4 kids alone, they're gonna act like idiots. Like you act like there was like when there's an adult in the room with 4 kids, they act totally different when there's 4 kids alone in a room.
Okay.
Did you not do stuff when your parents weren't around that you wouldn't do in front of them?
I mean, yeah, but I never acted like an idiot.
That is not true. That is not true. I call BS on that. 100%. 100% call BS on that.
Anyway.
I didn't know you when you were 15, but I knew you when you were slightly older, and I know you did dumb stuff. I was there with you doing it.
Anyway, I never acted like that. Like they did in the movie. That is not true. Yes, it is. I never acted like they did in the movie.
I disagree, but we won't talk about that.
All right. The only turtle that
look at your journals.
I don't journal. I'm not a woman.
Okay, good. That's dumb.
But yeah, the only turtle who actually acted consistent to every other interpretation was Michelangelo, because he's the comic relief in every iteration.
They didn't, and they okay. One thing they didn't do anything with Donatello as far as like tech guy.
Uh-huh.
Like they just completely left that out. Like I
Yep.
thought they were gonna do something with the machine at the end where he like reprograms it and does something, but they didn't do anything tech related,
Yep.
which eh.
And
So
then April wasn't April at all in the
April wasn't
movie.
April. Not at all. I'll give you
She
that
was
one.
a brand new character who was in high school and whatever.
Okay. So
Her character irritated me. Also, Rocksteady, Bebop, and Leatherhead were not the characters from either the comics or the TV show.
yeah, all those other mutants were different. Let's see. And I still don't know how I feel about all the voice actors. Like the Turtles did okay, but like having like John Cena and Seth Rogen and Ice Cube, Paul Rudd, Post Malone, all those guys being voice actors, like it kind of took me out of it. It's like too many cameos.
Okay.
I did like Jackie Chan as Splinter.
I did
I
not.
think if I think if the Splinter would have been exactly like the Splinter from the 80s and 90s cartoon, that this Splinter would have been the best Splinter ever, because the Jackie Chan, I don't know, his voice fit it really well. He didn't, I don't know. I think he did a good job
I think he did a fine job,
with the
but
character he had.
anyway, I think he did a fine job with what he had to work with. But I hate when I'm watching a cartoon and I can pick out the voice of the actor because it was just Jackie Chan's voice. And every time I watch a movie where I know, like I can hear the voice and say, "Oh, that's that person," I just see them when they're talking. I don't see the character that's on screen.
Okay. Because it's just their voice. They're not making a voice up.
Right.
They're not being a voice actor. They're just
Reading
themselves acting.
lines, and
Yeah.
all I saw was Jackie Chan. I didn't see Splinter.
See,
And then the same thing happened whenever I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, I went to watch a movie about some mouse and Dustin Hoffman was the voice of it. And I just saw Dustin Hoffman the entire movie.
Wait, what are you talking about?
What do you mean, what am I talking about?
What
There was
are you
an
talking
animated cartoon movie that
All right,
was
let me look.
like 10, 12 years ago. And Dustin Hoffman played the main character who was a mouse.
You talking about Kung Fu Panda?
No. I'm pretty sure it was Dustin Hoffman. If not, then I'm dumb.
I don't. Yeah, I think you're dumb. I don't see any Kung Fu Panda, Fockers, Luck Chef, the Cobbler. I don't see any animated movies other than Kung Fu Panda.
Okay.
Oh, The Tale of Despero?
Yeah, that would have been it. That sounds right.
Okay. I mean, like I said, it didn't like one character. It doesn't take me out. But when you have John Cena, Paul Rudd, Seth Rogen, Jackie Chan, Ice Cube, Post Malone, I don't know who Hannibal Buress or Derek Wilson are offhand, but when you have all those people, like it kind of takes me out of it. Um, yeah, so I'll kind of give you that one too. The end is the thing that like literally like the first two acts I'm on board for, but the third act was just kind of boring and didn't make any sense. The that's it. The only thing that was funny in the last third of the movie was when they got the gun that like did the
Mutant gun or
anti-mutant
whatever.
gun,
Yeah.
and they shot the big giant Superfly with it, and the one horse pops off, and he says, "That's it, one horse. I don't need that horse anyway." Like that was kind of funny.
Okay.
But where, like, it made no sense how he falls into the ocean, turns into a horse, a whale, I don't know, a whole bunch of other different kinds of animals, and he's 300 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
That made no sense. And um, yeah, and why they wanted to go to high school, that was stupid.
Uh-huh.
Because they were probably smarter than everybody in the high school. I don't know. That irritated me. Like you can have friends and do stuff outside of your house and not go to government schools.
Uh-huh.
It's really annoying. Have I mentioned how much I hate school buses?
No, you haven't.
I hate school buses and school zones so much. Anyway, but it was kind of, the end was kind of disappointing because it didn't, I don't know. It's like they just threw something together because they didn't know how to end it. Yeah, I don't know. The artwork started to about a third of the way through. I stopped paying attention to it. I just got used to it
I didn't.
for the
I
most part
hated it
until the
entire
end.
movie.
Like the middle part, the middle third, the artwork didn't bother me, but then it started to bother me at the end again when they had the weird creature and they just, I don't know if it was the way it was shot or like the artwork got more exaggerated. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I did
liked
not
it.
like the artwork at all.
I didn't. Yeah, I mean, it. There were times when it really stood out, and I was like, "Man, this doesn't look right." And then other times, I didn't really notice it. Um, the I'd also kind of thought about maybe like, okay, I don't know if this is true or not, but maybe the artwork looks the way it does because it's like it's being, so the entire movie is basically through the eyes of the turtles, right? So maybe that's how they see the world, as distorted and disfigured because they're outcasts, or just because they're turtles and they see the world weird, right? I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it's one of those things that, I don't know. Speculations that may or may not be true. Um, I thought it was pretty funny at certain times. There was a couple of jokes that I didn't get because I think I'm just too old for, which I don't, doesn't bother me. Um, the main premise of I guess the main plot of the story was okay. But yeah, I think I don't know how I feel about all the mutants at the end, like being one big giant happy family,
Mm-hmm.
because those are their arch enemies.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Rocksteady and Bebop absolutely are.
we
And
don't know
then,
how old they are either.
right.
So they would, I guess, technically be younger because they were made
Yeah, they
after.
would have had to have been Well, Baxter Stockman had a bunch of lab or vials, so I think they may have been in those vials. So they would have been around
I
the
guess
same age.
about the same age then. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. That was kind of dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Because then who are the bad guys? Are the bad guys always going to be people from
I
now
guess
on?
so.
Because Shredder shows up in the end credits,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of cool because he looked cool. I liked Shredder as a bad guy. Um,
Yeah, but Rocksteady and Bebop are supposed to be his henchmen.
yeah. So
So
yeah, that is what it is. But if this is early in their lives, and maybe Bebop and Rocksteady turn to a life of violence in their late teens and join up with Shredder and try to take over the world. I mean, you don't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if there's plans to do any more of these or if this was just a one-off.
I sincerely hope there's not.
I don't think. Like honestly, I don't. I don't know if they can ever make another Ninja Turtles movie that I'm like 100% sold on. Because the live action Ninja Turtles movies from the 90s were like golden age 90s movies. They were right, that period in your young life where, you get attached to characters and that's how you know them. So them doing all this other stuff, trying to change the characters up a little bit. Now, I would like to see like if they went dark with the turtles,
Mm-hmm.
like uh what's his name? The Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh, Christopher Nolan.
Like if Christopher Nolan did a Ninja Turtles trilogy,
Yeah.
I might be on board for that.
All right.
That might be cool. But I don't know. There was some stuff in that was good that kind of like they had the Vanilla Ice song.
Yeah, for
And
like
I was
3 seconds.
yeah, I know. And like I'm like, all right, nostalgia, yeah, ice, ice, baby. but so there was some, I don't know. I thought it was good. What did you rate it? You rated it horribly.
Yeah, because it was a horrible movie. I give it a 2.3.
You gave it a 2.3, which I think is borderline ridiculous.
I think it's completely fair, and I don't suggest anybody go waste their money and watch it.
I gave it a 6.3 because I enjoyed it, but the last act, like I said, it is what it is. But for me, I don't think there's a lot of rewatch value, so it can't get a 7. And um yeah, so yeah, I just can't. I'm sorry. I probably won't watch it again, but I think it's I don't know. If you didn't grow up in the 90s and you have kids, like you could watch this movie with them and it'd be enjoyable. But if you grew up in the 90s, you're probably gonna just want to show them the original live action movies,
Or
which
the
are
cartoons from the late 80s, early 90s as well.
yeah, because this movie's PG and all of the live action Ninja Turtles movies were PG.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no content that they can't watch.
Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up this review. So if you guys made it this far, make sure to hit that
Tell me why
button.
Ryan's wrong. Everybody pile up on Ryan and tell him why he's wrong.
Yes, please do. But yeah, so like I was saying, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see when we release more videos. Like Brandon said, leave comments down below on why I'm wrong. Or if you think I'm right, let me know as well so I can get a little self-confidence boost.
You know what's really gonna piss you off is I was just looking, and the Mutant Mayhem has a higher rating than the live action movies.
Yeah, I don't care.
What was I gonna say? Sunday is our spoiler-free reviews. Monday is our spoiler-filled reviews. Thursdays we talk about something else: television, comic books, whatever we feel like talking about. And you can check us out on Twitter at BRH Reviews, and you can also follow us on Rumble and or YouTube. Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
All right, that's it. Later, guys.